Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Monday Night Mayhem, live on YouTube, courtesy of MRL Broadcasting. Mean Gene Money here. I've got Zach Panzarella in the booth with me, and we have got a show for you. It is the MRL Cup Series playoffs. We're in the second round of eliminations, the Great Eight, the Elite Eight, one might even say. 3 races to figure out who those final 4 are going to be, and we're right in the middle of it. Zach, I'll tell you what, man, I can't be more pumped up right now.
Same here, Mean Gene. We are at one of the craziest tracks, as if these playoffs couldn't get any crazier. Man, we're at another super speedway, and we've heard a lot of these guys in this league scared about today, the unpredictability that today is going to show us. Oh man, I am just as pumped as you, Mean Gene.
I'll tell you what, last time we were on a super speedway, we saw some serious aggression. MRL, we got a Monday night series, we got a Wednesday night series. A lot of these guys carry over and compete with each other. The last time they were on a super speedway was Talladega Super Speedway, and we saw a lot of bumping and grinding there, and I don't mean R. Kelly kind, right?
Oh no, and that'd be worse. But we did see a lot of bumping and grinding at that track. Some of the most aggression we had seen all season. Also a lot of part-timers, and I'm not seeing as many out here today. So I would expect potentially more calm race, but at the same time, these are guys who are comfortable racing each other, who have been racing each other all season. I think we're going to see some fireworks.
Oh, and especially when you look at that cutoff line, we'll talk about points here in a little bit later, but when you look at that cutoff line, people got to take chances. Atlanta's the kind of track, if you sit back and relax, you're going to suddenly find yourself back towards the rear, and that is going to end your day and possibly your season. Atlanta Motor Speedway, 28 degrees of banking, 1.5 miles of asphalt, and it is gonna get crazy. Let's talk about what happened last week, Zach. They were at Darlington Raceway, and we saw David Cook just push the screws into every driver. He won that race. He became the new series leader, ripping it from the grasp of Tony Iverson. And I'll tell you, David just about did everything you could there. I mean, the pole, the most laps led. This guy was just a monster.
Yeah, David Cook punching his ticket to the championship race. That's a huge deal for David. He's had a great season, and I believe that was his 4th win of the year if you include what he did in the regular season. So David Cook able to kind of just sit back and just race for trophies in these 2 races. But man, that Darlington race, what it showed us is that anyone in that round of 8 can advance on a win to win this championship, or to punch their ticket to that championship race, and it's still all up for grabs. It is very, very close, and it was really, really close until just about the last second last week over at Darlington, a very difficult racetrack.
Yeah, it was wide open. We saw David Cook take the win. Buddy Sully, he took 2nd place. Jonathan Casebeer took 3rd. Tony Iverson, we mentioned him earlier. He did have the fastest lap, but at the end, he was caught up in some foolishness, and he finished in 12th position. The big story, though, had to be just how much David Cook dominated that race. He took the pole. He led the first 20-something laps. He pitted before the other guys to go on a different strategy. Lap 67 comes around. He gets back in the lead, and he never looked back, and he led that thing all 125 for the rest of the 125 laps. The guy you got to feel bad for, though, had to be Michael Mata, Zach. That DC on the last lap, oh my, just heartbreaking.
I honestly keep forgetting about that, Mean Gene. That was such a brutal moment in the race. As he was crossing the checkered flag to take the white flag, he lost connection. We've all been there, and you can see looking at the points right now, it cost him. I think if he had gotten that 2nd place finish that we all know he deserved, he'd be sitting pretty comfortably right now in those points. Instead, he finds himself 8th. The last one on the outside looking in, a full, you can't say 34 points since Cook's locked in, but around 22 behind Tony Iverson, the 2nd place, the first vulnerable car.
Yeah, what he needs to do is make his way to 4th. You can see there, Buddy Sully, David Owens, both tied at 2043, 21 back of that leader. And then after that, 13 points behind Mata's going to make that up. And I'll tell you what, there was definitely a big difference of those 13 points. And you're right, I think Mata would have been right in the heat of that. But Mata, he and Buddy Sully, some of the hottest drivers, they had late wins in the regular season to punch their ticket into this playoff and then managing to power through from the bottom positions into this Elite Eight. Would not be surprised to to see either one of them taking it wide open here today to punch their ticket. Another driver, though, you're going to have to keep an eye on. Look at the Florida man, Jax Duvall, taking the pole today. What a guy.
Oh my gosh, Jax Duvall. We don't talk about him enough. He's in the round of 8. He had a masterful race at Darlington, did some great strategy to get him a really good finish. I mean, I think he had the speed to do it otherwise, but Jax known for his strategy, but also known for his speed and aggression, especially on tracks like this, super speedways. Not a surprise to see Jax Duvall on the pole, but man, that's going to make the beginning of this race even that much more interesting, because you know Jack's going to be looking for that lead and looking to lead those laps early and control this thing.
Yeah, he is a wild man. He is calm in the car, volatile outside of it. Jax Duvall, never a boring moment with that guy. Zach, they're on the grid right now. Do you got our buddy KJ down there?
Yes, we do. I mean, can we find him? I mean, I don't know how we manage to find this guy every week, but oh, there he is.
And now, race fans, for the most famous words in motorsports, the star of Universal Pictures movie, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry, Kevin James.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
And they are revving those engines up. I'll tell you what, didn't he do a NASCAR series one year on Netflix? Boy, I'd like to see that thing come back.
It actually was good. Did you watch it? It was actually good.
I did.
It wasn't bad. It was fine. It was NASCAR, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you had the hotshot driver, the older guy.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it had all the things. Speaking of all the things, we got all the things right here on MRL Monday Night Mayhem. So I'll tell you what, if you like watching racing, you're in the right spot. Go ahead and hit subscribe. Tell your friends, call somebody right now. Reach out, get them out here. We're going around the track, getting it ready. Your top drivers right now, front row, Jax Duvall, Michael Mata. He the disconnected car last time. Second is on that front row. David Cook, Bobby Dodson is in that second row. Mason Smalley, Jonathan K. Sabir is going to round out the top 3 rows.
Yes, they are. And behind them, we got Iverson right in the middle of the pack of the Super Speedway. That'll be fun to watch. Behind Iverson, we got Alex Hillman, have just won at this exact track in another league a couple weeks ago. Look for him today. David Owens and Jack Sanders rounding out the top 10. There, it's all to play for here, Mean Gene, and we're up to 17 cars in the field, so this ended up being a pretty good-sized field.
Yeah, gotta love it. Austin Barrow, 11th. He's a playoff driver. Hunter Hall, the 97 of Richard Swingle. Matthew Fritz, playoff driver. Justin Parr, Buddy Sully in the back. Brandon Garant. We're about to go green. Remember, Duvall in the 84 is going to be your control car. There's the green flag, and the 84 Goldfish car is off to a slow start. Michael Mott on the outside jumps fast. I wonder if MRL officials are going to take a look at that.
I mean, that is the thing about the initial green flag start, Mean Gene. You go on the flag, not the leader, so that really is one of the rare times you'll see what just happened to Jax happen, but nonetheless, not the start the 84 Duvall was looking for.
Oh, and there's a little bit of wiggling back there. Look at that inside car. Is that the 25 of Jack Sanders? Gets on the apron and fades to the back.
That was Owens.
But the guys, that was Owens.
Owens,
he might
yeah.
be up to some trickery.
Wanted nothing to do with it. Maybe right away seeing the vibe of the field and saying, you know what, maybe just because I didn't qualify so great, I don't want to deal with this. But yeah, nonetheless, David Owens all the way to the rear. We're gonna have to see around lap 60 if he wants those stage points. And look at that, 2 members of the 27 club wanting nothing to do with this.
Wow, this is very interesting. These cars are getting loose fast. These cars on lap 2, they do not have warm tires. You do have a fast repair, but nobody wants to use it this early in the race. So seeing these guys getting out of the way, but the guys up front, they've got the testicular fortitude to push this thing forward. And people we got to keep an eye on. Look at that outside. That is Bobby Dodson, Jonathan K. Sabir, Michael Mata. That is MC Racing. Those 3 guys, all teammates, and they love super speedways. And right now, that outside lane could be that control lane. But let's see what the inside of Duvall has to say about that.
I do think the outside will be the control lane, because what I want us to keep an eye on, me and Gene, is watch how this inside lane already, we're 4 laps in, is going to struggle to hold the bottom. See, a few of them will kind of drift up the track a little bit, about a half a lane. That will become a full lane as these tires get older. This is really the only super speedway on the NASCAR schedule, because it wasn't a real super speedway, where tires do come into play later in the run. You do kind of want new tires here, and the car does get sketchy the longer you push these tires.
All right, so I was wrong. I'm used to seeing Mata in a white car. He's actually in a black 16. He's the second car on that inside row. So MC Motorsports is not lined up, but they are 3 of the top 5 cars. So you're going to have to keep an eye on that. Duval, though, he's real friendly. He'll make friends out there to help push him around. Draft will come into effect. And another car, Zach, that just drew my attention is that the old Kyle Petty Mellow Yellow scheme, 4th car outside row.
Oh, or is that, are you talking about Jack Sanders? That is the Danica Patrick GoDaddy scheme.
What is he running?
Yeah, that's quite the opposite. Long hair, I guess. Long hair and
GoDaddy.
yeah, and got to be in the sport for reasons other than their talent. Just kidding, they're both good.
Wow.
That's mean. Kyle Petty is awesome, and Danica did her thing. But
Oh, wait, I thought it was the other way. I thought Danica was in for talent and Kyle was there for the name.
I'll
I'm
bite
a
my tongue.
recovering Kyle Petty fan. I'm a recovering Kyle Petty fan. It wasn't fair, listeners. I was working in a gas station and Coors Light came in and did a promo, and Kyle Petty was the driver that came. I didn't know about NASCAR at that point, and he told me, root for me. I said, sure. He never won another race.
That's so mean of him. Oh my gosh.
What a hell of an introduction.
Right? Hey, that really does. Oh my goodness. Did you see Dodson there shooting up the outside lane? That was an intense moment. The intensity really not dialing back at all, Mean Gene, but you can tell these cars are getting more difficult to drive lap by lap. Only a matter of time until we see a real moment here.
Well, all these drivers are used to that moment. And coming out of Talladega, they're used to that hard pushing. But you know what's missing is we don't see Matt Tucker 3000 out there. We don't see Sean Walden. Those were the guy initiating those real hard pushes. I wonder if their absence from this race will calm down some of the drivers. But drivers it's not going to calm down is going to be Cook and Iverson. That's that second and third car on that bottom lane. These guys need to win, and they need to win against each other. On points, they're fine. They're going to make it to the next round unless there's a calamity. But right now, these two guys are like dueling swordsmen in the 18th century, staring across the battlefield at each other. You know Iverson wants to put his mark on this second round of the playoffs. It's his time. He led the regular season. He is the man. And yet all of a sudden, Michael Mata comes out of nowhere, takes a win. Buddy Sully comes out of nowhere. And then in this next round, in Darlington, it's David Cook that dominated the thing. So the 13 car is somebody I'm looking at who he's got something to prove, but the only person he's trying to prove it to is himself, and he's driving like a man possessed.
Interesting observation about Tony Iverson, Mean Gene, is I'm not sure if you remember because it just came back to my mind, but in the interview last week post-race after Darlington, he told us he was going to be hanging out in the back waiting for his chance to strike as we got closer to the stage end. That is clearly not what's happening. Tony Iverson did qualify somewhere in the middle of the field, which even surprised me that he did qualify, but now he finds himself second or third in line on the inside. Clearly, oh, and there's trouble! Mata gets hit right in front of Iverson, and the caution's out.
Hillman.
Mata seems to have saved it.
Hillman both. Ugh.
Big moment there. Let's go back
My
and check
heart
it
was
out.
beating.
Wow, we were on board with Iverson, so we missed a little bit of the repercussions, but we did get to see just how quick that happens. Oh, and Alex Hillman seems to be in this one big. Let's go
Johnson and
back
Hillman
here.
initially, and then whoever's behind that.
Let's ride with Mata, or let's stick with Mata here. So there he goes around. Looked like Netco there. Around goes Dodson. Hillman with a big hit. 25 of Sanders in the wall as well. Lots of damage cars. Not sure what happened
T-boned
initially.
Hillman there. Somebody T-boned
Sanders.
Hillman to
That was Sanders.
the.
Yes, sir. So what happened there? Oh, just not the push that he was looking for from Dodson. It happened so quick. Man, that really just goes to show how fast that happens. It looked like a
looks
lot
a
of net
57.
code involved as well.
57, Buddy Garin, Justin Parham into the pits, Bobby Dodson, Jonathan Quesabir, Michael Mata. Lots of cars taking this opportunity to come on down pit road. Hey, why not? If you're not in the lead in this thing, you might as well. Top 4 cars stayed out. Jax Duvall, David Cook, Tony Iverson, and Austin Merrow taking this opportunity to get up into the front.
Is that
Austin Merrow? He's 7th in points. He really needs a big day here to get back up into that top 4, and this might be the move. Another wreck. Austin Merrow's on a winning strategy in the 28 Chevrolet.
Mean Gene, tell me this isn't the weirdest spin you've ever seen. Look at this. He's just cruising on along. I think it's just some brutal net code from that 71.
Yeah, the 71 come up.
I mean,
the net code got him.
Yeah, certainly no contact. I mean, an awesome save by Mata, but
Bobby gets pinched.
And there goes Hillman.
Quesabir goes down with it to get away from it. Inside lane, it looks like it's escaping. Sanders with the wackadoodle.
Twice.
Gets him again. Faster pairs. We do have one, so I think we're going to see a little bit of that faster pair action.
Yeah, it looks that way. Let's take a look at the Hillman car. 14-second pit stop, so definitely took that faster. I love that paint job. That's a cool Sharpie paint scheme. So yeah, Duvall, Cook, Iverson, and Merrow staying out, like you alluded to. Good call by Duvall and Cook, I believe, to keep control of this race. You just saw what could happen if you find yourself in the middle of the field.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're up on that outside and there's nowhere to go. You got to choose between the wall and risk it going down. If you're on the bottom, at least you can duck down under that apron like we saw early in the race Owens choosing to do to get away from all of that wildness.
And there he is taking a little splash of fuel again.
Hey, why not? Yeah. He's running that same scheme that same sponsor he ran last year. It was the black car last year, though. This year, running that white and gold.
Good point. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep.
Well, here we go again. Trying to figure out that bizarre spin. Took up all our caution time, luckily, so that's nice. But going back to that first restart, Mean Gene, let's see if Duvall is able to get off better here now that he has full control of this one.
It's funny, though, all the foolishness that happened, Duvall managed to be the leader again.
He did. He did.
He's like, I won't pit. I'll stay in the lead, and I won't make that same mistake. David Cook on the outside row. Not a surprise. He loves it out there. Iverson inside row. He's 3rd place. And outside of him, Austin Merrow. Those 4 guys are on old tires. We're about to get a restart here, and we are going green. This is our first restart. Great jump there by Jax Duvall, taking full advantage of being the control car. And that is going to allow Cook and Iverson to battle. Cook is going to win. And then behind him, you can see Merrow and Iverson. Justin Parham coming into the picture now. That's your top 5.
Yeah, David Cook with an uncharacteristically slow and falling asleep restart there. Usually we are drooling over his restart ability, but right there, Jax Duvall. Oh, man. Did you see Buddy Sully up there towards the wall? That was a close one. Wiggle. Yes, sir. Who is that behind him in the new paint scheme? That's the 57 of Garand. Oh, wow. You see cars grazing the wall. The aggression is full tilt right now. These guys are going for it.
Not perfect to be doing that.
No, absolutely not. And so let's see if these new tires, because a few of them did take them based on their pit times. And yeah, as you can see, a few of these guys want nothing to do with this. But let's see if they matter at all, if any speed comes with these new tires at this track. Look at this insanity here.
Yeah, it looked like Michael Mata is trying that outside lane a little bit further back, all by himself, but he's trying to work it. Tony Iverson, now he has moved himself up into 2nd place, got Parham behind him, and those top 4 don't look to be suffering too badly from not taking tires. Michael Mata in 5th in that 16. He's that first car that's on the fresher tires. Actually, Parham in the 18, 3rd place. He's that first car. Mike Mata made that outside work, didn't he?
Wow, did you see that move by Mata? He just did a just got only Hillman. That was not greedy. And he's going to try it again here on Parham. Watch this. He's going to try to probably complete the pass somewhere in the middle of 1 and 2. You can do some stuff now on the outside, even without a ton of drafting help, or at least it looked that way. But Look at that run that time stall out. We're going to have to pay attention to that. That was an interesting pass, me and Gene.
Yeah, he was making that outside lane work on that restart, but once he got into the top 4 cars, top 5 cars, I think that he found guys that were just as fast and as full of as much testosterone as he is, and that did force him to push back.
Whoa.
You can see Mata fade back just a little bit after that move did not work. Trying to bring it now, he's got a partner. He's got Brandon Garrett in that 57 Cobalt car leading that outside lane. And then right behind them, you can see David Cook, of course, trying to make it work. Bobby Dodson, he's the 4th car on that outside lane. 5 cars on that inside lane, though, being led by Jax Duvall, Tony Iverson, Justin Parham. So there is a lot of speed up here. It looks like that lead group's got about 10 of our 17 cars, and they are moving.
Yeah, and you saw Dodson for a second attempt 3 wide and immediately slap the wall. The space just doesn't seem to be there, especially with the instability of these lines and how much cars are coming or going up and down within their line. It just doesn't seem possible, and Dodson within milliseconds was slapping the wall, and you can see it now, costing him a tiny bit of speed, or maybe just readjusting and trying to plan his attack here, because this will mostly be a 2-lane track today, Mean Gene. I think when it does go to 3, we're going to see incidents quickly.
Yeah, you can't mess around. It's only 40 foot wide in the turns, and it's 40 and 50 foot wide on the front and back stretch. On 40 and 45 feet wide on the front and back stretch. So getting 3 cars in there in that little tight space on this intermediate 1.5 mile track is going to be tough, especially on these tires, because they're cold, then they're good for about 3 laps, and then they're garbage once again. This asphalt just rips right through those Goodyear rubber, so you can't get any really excited about it. That gap between that first and second group is tightening up just a little bit. Richard Swingle, Jonathan Casabir leading it. Wouldn't be surprised to see if that second group could catch up relatively quickly with that side-by-side racing, but these boys up front are moving. Top 10 cars in their own little pack, trying to pull away, and it looks like we finally got some stability of the last 3 laps. All those cars in that lead lap holding their position, but this is not a parade lap at Talladega. These boys are not going to be satisfied just driving in a circle. We are going to be taking no break, but we will award 1 point to the stage leader on lap 60. I don't think these guys are just going to drive around for the next 37 laps, Zach.
No, and you were right. That second group led by Swingle is considerably faster. I'm talking like a half a second almost faster than the group in front of them, and it's exactly why you said they are in order. They're not fighting each other, and look at this. They're about to merge. We'll see if that that second group decides to be aggressive here or file right in on the bottom. But you can see the group in front of them still not super organized. This will be a big moment here that will probably dictate how a lot of these guys race each other going forward in this race. Oh, and there it goes, Mata. Mata is around, massive hit from Mata.
Looks
and
like Cook got away.
Good measure for Owens and the 57 of Garand. But that 16 of Mata not steering straight, it doesn't appear. Looked like those were a few big hits there. Let's take a look at that one, Mean Gene.
Yeah, David Cook looked like he was part of that too. Cook, remember, he was one of the cars that did not pit.
So how did this one happen? Huh.
Looks like the 57 might have got tight and came down.
Yeah, I don't know what the 57... I don't know where he was going there.
And then Cook, that's a little harder than I thought.
You're right about that. Let's see if we can get a good look at the front end of Cook. Yeah, there's some damage there. And then there goes Owens kind of shoving the 57 into the 16 again a little bit. I don't think this was
like,
too big. I'm sure Mata was like, really? Again?
The combo shot. It's a combo shot. 16 in the corner pocket off the 57.
So you know what I'm going to do. We're riding on board with the 57 to try to see what happened here. So we'll start here. And we'll go slow-mo here. So that is...
Look at it right there. Look at that angle right there. It looks like he's coming down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the car just gets tight.
That steering wheel is turned very much to the left.
Yeah.
Well, Mata is... That's an interesting one, isn't it? Like...
I mean, if your car pushes and my car is tight, then guess what's going to happen?
Yeah. And I'm going to assume from Mata's perspective, he had no idea this was going to happen. I can't imagine thinking you're clear if you're Mata, but he certainly isn't clearing himself. His wheel is straight. His wheel is straight. That's a weird one.
I don't think anybody did anything wrong. I think just Garin did not give him any.
Yeah, there it is.
Didn't cut him any slack.
Garen's
see,
inexplicably coming down.
Yeah. I think the car just gets tight.
What's the angle of Cook behind him? Yeah, there's no reason for that. Man. That's a rough one for a playoff driver, Michael Mata, who just cannot seem to catch a break.
And Cook as well. Boom. Luckily, Cook's already punched his ticket in after that win at Darlington, but not wanting to be part of that.
Absolutely not.
And you know who else doesn't like that? It's Tony Iverson. Tony is quite the gentleman. He wants to beat the brakes off of you, but he wants to beat the brakes off of you with no excuses. No broken car, no late gas mileage foolishness. Tony just wants to take that thing and be the wheel man, and you can watch his rear bumper when he takes that win. So Tony Iverson also a little sad. I'm sure a little part of him wants to take that win with a healthy David Cook. But he's still got other healthy drivers out there to challenge him.
It's bittersweet, isn't it? So we got...
For him.
Yeah,
for champions.
For him,
me,
absolutely.
There's 17 guys. I would take 16 DNFs to get that win, and I'd dance all weekend.
Oh, same here. I have no shame. I think I've said that like 10 times on here. So Swingle and Case of Beer should be mentioned as well. Case of Beer also coming off a Super Speedway win. The defending MRL Truck Series winner came over in the middle of their playoffs as a part-timer and was able to get the win over at Talladega on Thursday. Led one lap as well, like Owens did last year, but it was the important one, and he actually did that coming from a lap down, so hats off to Case of Beer. It was fun to share the track with him. Wasn't fun to lose to him, but was definitely fun to get to share the track with him, and congrats to him. So now he's up here with Swingle.
Yeah, just for him.
Swingle, and we will take a closer look at this in the next caution, but Swingle did lead the most laps here last year as well, so two guys very familiar with how to lead a Super Speedway race, and he has a teammate of his and a friend of his, Jack Staval, one row behind, but in the wrong rows, but new characters up front. This will be a fun one, me and Gene.
I think so. So the Swingle in that 97, he is going to be your control car. They are pace car out of the way. We're waiting to see them go green. Boom, Geico restart zone. There's your restart. Great jump, leaves Case of Beer in the dust. Case of Beer and Hillman now side by side. Ooh, look at that hard cut by Case of Beer to get down on that inside. Iverson and Duvall now open lane in front of them on the outside, but there's just the two of them. Little contact between Cook and Duvall. These cold tires make for some interesting matchups.
Definitely, and looking at the pit stops, we got 2 tires, we got 4 tires, we got no tires, we have every possible situation out here, Mean Gene. So no one dealing with the same situation, essentially, which is also going to add to all the problems that we're about to see. But wow, look at this go. And Alex Hillman trying to lead some of his first laps in MRL as he looks to the inside of Richard Swingle. Gorgeous move by Alex Hillman.
Rewind as we see that lead car go out of the way. That was not how Swingle imagined his day going, but here we go now. Hillman in the lead in that 904. David Cook trying to get under Case of Beer. Case of Beer slams the door. Hillman, Case of Beer, Cook, Parham. That's your inside lane. Jax Duvall on the outside, tied in that third row with Cook trying to make a move, and Iverson still pushing. They need help on that outside row, and here comes 3 more cars to make it more of a race. But right now, all these cars, 16 cars, all bunched together. 3, ooh, so close there.
So many moments there. Dodson making an extremely aggressive move to the outside. And then we see Case of Beer and Jax get together. And now we're about to go 3 wide with Iverson looking to the top. This is getting crazy. Contact with Hillman. Jax to the wall. 4 wide. Oh, wow. This is incredible.
That's right. They're loose. They're wrecking.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
Oh, Daryl, they're wrecking.
Wow, 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 wow,
Go
wow.
4 wide.
You just can't. You can't go 3 wide. Oh my gosh. So what happened here, me and Gene?
Well, what happened was I felt some tightness in my sphincter. My voice, my heart went into my, oh, you meant on the truck?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's Buddy Sully. That is Buddy Sully. Another playoff driver, another guy that we kind of had not locked, but one of our favorites to go to the championship race has now lost his fast repair.
Yeah, Buddy. Remember him, Buddy, Sully, and Michael Mata both got late wins, so they were on the bottom of that point spectrum. Owie.
That could not
He
have
got
gone
the Marine
worse.
car with him too.
Yes, he did. So another playoff driver, Matthew Fritz, someone we have not talked about much yet today. I think. Oh my gosh, look at that! Look at that car, Mean Gene. That thing is done. Those are 2 playoff drivers who have lost their faster pair. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 who have it left at this point. Wow. I don't think that could have gone worse for so many of our playoff drivers. Let's watch this. Oh, sorry. Hit the wrong button there, guys. Meant to hit slow-mo and hit fast forward. All right, let's watch this on slow-mo. So here goes, watch the 21 in the middle there. He's loose. And here, I think if you're the 21, you're just praying. Like, please let me just spin out to the bottom, right? Nope. You're doing it for Dale, unfortunately.
Look at that. And he comes right back up into Fritz.
Oh, God,
There's
he hit a
that
ton.
Cobalt car again.
And yeah,
Garen.
Wrong place, wrong time again for that 57. I'm assuming that might be it for Garen today. Man, that is a huge wreck with huge repercussions. And then you watch that 97 drive away, who started that restart in the lead. Probably so happy he bailed out of that situation.
I see the 48 rolling again, so most likely that 48 Manny Ray's Chevrolet using his faster pair.
Look how pretty it is.
Because that car looks clean now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Look at that thing. It's gorgeous again.
There's not even any dirt on the tire.
Same with this one. Same with this one. Look how pretty. So hopefully they can stay that way for the rest of the race. All right, Mean Gene, what better time than now? I think we got, hold on, let's go to our leader real quick and make sure we're not going green this time around. Oh, our leader is not even on the track. That's hilarious.
There he is.
There's him.
For Hillman. And the lights are still on the pace car.
Cool. So let's take a look at our last season stats here. Run us through these, Mean Gene, because you actually took a look at the finishing differential in terms of time and everything.
Well, absolutely. David Owens barely getting the win over Quesabir, and coolest name last year, Bruno Latour. Hey, Bruno, if you can hear me, come back, bro. Just for the name, please. I'll let you use my provisional every week. So they had a restart on with 4 laps to go. Bruno Latour in the lead. Quesabir was in second. Richard Swingle was in third. David Owens was in sixth. In 1 lap, Owens went from 6th to 3rd. And on that last lap, Gulf Coast Racing struck. Steve Lewis pushed Joe Volpus, who pushed David Owens into the lead. David Owens led 1 lap, Zach, but guess what lap it was? The most important lap there is, and he found himself on victory lane.
That certainly happens at Super Speedways more than anywhere else, and no surprise that it happened here specifically. This track is still very new to a lot of us, especially last year. I think it was probably 2 years old at that point, so very new and not surprising to see how unpredictable and hectic that race was. Really fascinating seeing a guy like Swingle lead 39 laps. That means he essentially controlled this thing, so hats off to him for that one. Also got the stage. But that was an unpredictable race last year, and you can tell a lot of outsiders, as KK likes to call them, came over for that one. But I can tell you from looking at the stats and the video clips that we got to see, Mean Gene, not surprised at all to see what we're seeing here in terms of the hecticness.
No, it's super speedway racing, but in a microscope. You know, you're dealing with that banking, that 28-degree banking, this asphalt surface, 5-degree banking down the straightaways. These guys basically are just wide open on older tires or cold tires. Here we go. We're going green. Hillman, your control car on the inside, gets a great jump over David Cook. Iverson pushing Cook hard. Case of beer sleeping at the wheel, loses it on the inside, and that allows Cook and Iverson to dump it down. So you got Hillman, Cook, Iverson, Case of beer. He's the 4th car on the inside. Bobby Dodson coming into the picture. And on the outside, Michael Mata in that black sleek car. And it looks like David Owens is starting to make his way up into that group too, up in that white number 11 on the bottom.
Yeah, it's just about David Owens time. We're getting close to the stage, and that's when you know David Owens likes to show up and go for it. And look at him as he goes the inside line. David Owens, a super good and aggressive Super Speedway racer, controlled Thursday's race, just wasn't able to get it done at the end, but man, he led a lot of laps, and I believe he won the stage as well. So David Owens, no surprise to see him up front as well, but watch out for that 904 of Hillman, Mean Gene. He doesn't care about the playoffs. He knows he can win here. He's an aggressive driver, and he has so much confidence in places like this. He is not surprised to be finding himself leading right now, or was leading, as Tony Iverson takes the lead on the outside. but he is going to be aggressive, and he is going to go for it every chance he gets.
Yeah, I'll tell you, these guys might not be in the playoff run, but they need to make it work.
Oh my gosh.
Forced to
Oh
cut
my
down.
God. Was he
Case
forced?
of Beer took that outside. Yeah, he was. Case of Beer took that outside lane away, and Iverson had to make a split-second decision. Does he just sit in the middle and allow it to go 3 wide, or does he cut down? And I'll tell you what's faster than netcode, Zach? The 13 of Tony Iverson, because he did not get victimized by netcode, fell right into line into that inside lane, and he's still holding that position. We're on lap 38. We're racing to lap 60 for the stage points. So these guys got a long way to go and a short time to get there. Come on, watch Iverson run.
Oh, man, Iverson, be careful with those late closes. Was that one, man, he got lucky. That was a millisecond. That was a split-second decision by Tony Iverson, and it worked out. But, oh, my goodness, I think it just took years off both our lives. I don't even want to know what it did to that field. That was crazy, and we know how crazy a Case of Beer can be at these tracks. Another guy just like Hillman has most of his wins at these type of tracks. He wants it. He's not surprised to be up front. He's going to go for it. And, man, here we go. Tony Iverson doing the opposite of what he told us he was going to do, Mean Gene.
And MC Motorsports is on that outside lane now. That is the 16 of Mata. So you see Case of Beer, Dodson, and Mata, that outside lane. Those 3 guys are teammates. So you know they're going to let off and not do any of that hard pushing. Hopefully, Brandon Guerin got the memo, though, because that 57, he's that 4th car on that outside lane. He could pack it in there tight. And then how about that number 12 of Hunter Hall coming in? He's the 5th car. 5 cars on that outside lane trying to make this thing competitive. Inside lane, though, Iverson and Hillman, they're moving pretty fast. 71 of David Cook. So you got a lot of heavy hit. And then David Owens right behind Cook. So heavy hitters. As you got that lead group of 9 cars. Right after that, Parham, he needs to close that gap or him and Fritz are going to fade away, and we're going to watch these top 9 cars push away.
Yeah, great point. You can lose the draft at this track easier than other super speedways, mostly just because of the raw speed of it and how small it is. It actually, for some reason, from what I experienced, allows these cars to get away from you a lot quicker than normal, especially as I've talked about in the past in these next gens. These things lose the draft like no other. What I'm paying attention to right now, Mean Gene, is that 32 at Dotson, the 6th of Case of Beer, they cannot get like they're pulling away. They're going fast, but look at how sketchy these are. I mean, I know Dotson is such a good pusher. He shows it in every super speedway, but they are such intense pushes, and you can see it making the 6 squirrely just about every lap. Only a matter of time until either 6 says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to take the inside line because I don't want you pushing me anymore, or Dodson just goes for it, or even worse, something happens. And one more. Oh, and look at it. Owens to the bottom to go lead that bottom lane. I like that ride by him. And watch for that 16 of Mata. You can see like the 21 of Sully trying to save that fast, or now that fast speed is gone, trying to save that car. No such thing from Mata. He is still out here going for it, even though he doesn't have another car in that garage waiting for him.
I'm telling you, I think those 3 cars, though, they have been practicing with each other all week. As long as that inside lane doesn't get loose and come smashing up into them, I think we're going to continue to see that kind of hard pushing from the 6, the 32, and the 16. Very similar to what we saw at Talladega between Matt Tucker 3000 and Sean Walton. The problems occurred when they tried to do that to other people. They couldn't, the other cars were not accustomed to it. Whereas I think these 3 guys are accustomed to this level of pushing that they're giving each other. Mata, Quesabir, and Bobby Dodson. So I don't think the problem's going to come out of them. I am interested, though, in that 57 of Brandon Guerin. I've watched him tap the wall 2-3 times the last 2-3 laps. So going to be interesting to see if he can maintain staying in that draft or if he's going to have to let that group go away.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about guys like Guerin and what their tire situation may be like from what we can tell from the data that we have available to us. First of all, what's most impressive is that 6 a Case of Beer, without a doubt, has the oldest tires because he's been on them for 33. He hasn't pit in 33 laps. No one's even close to that. So he has been on this racetrack for a long time. As you can tell, I think as long as you're leading, it gives you a little bit easier of a time with those older tires. I think he might be having a little bit harder of a time if he was somewhere in that pack where you can see how intense that racing is right now. I mean, you can see Iverson and Owens right now. They're going for it. They want that inside lane to work. As there goes the 16 of Mata the inside. Now this will get interesting as that top lane really starting to get thin, but still has had the speed. But yeah, pretty much everyone here, Mean Gene, on mostly different tire situations, different fuel situations. We don't really know how if these guys can make it to the end of the stage even or not, so that might have something to do with why the aggression is here. If you feel like you're going to have to pay it again regardless of anything. And wow, you look at these leaders that got to stay committed to the line.
Yeah, I'm wondering, though, you called it a few laps ago. You thought Mata would make that move, and he did. So is this team trying to control the speed from the front row now? Maybe they're starting to think about trying to do some kind of gas, limited run. But just as soon as I say that, they get back together again.
Yep.
And Owens and Iverson and Hillman on the bottom lane. Hopefully those guys are going to figure out they need to be teammates if they want a chance to compete with MC. A lot of wiggling back there, Zach. A lot of wiggling.
Especially on that tri-oval, because it has that funky rule where you can't go. You cannot go below that red line there. Probably should have mentioned that earlier, but you can't do that. So it makes that tri-oval so funky, Mean Gene. You really feel like you have to turn. Mm-hmm.
That too. There's a bump in there too.
There is bumps. You were right. It's plural. Wow, look at how close Iverson is with the netcode we've seen today. I would be careful about that. But here we go as we go through it. This is where I think we're going to see our big issues. It really is a big moment every time you have to go through those two tri-oval notches. You don't know what the cars beside you or in front of you, behind you are going to do and how they're going to take it. And it does seem different every lap. But man, I think what Michael Mata also wanted there, Mean Gene, this race hasn't gone the way he wanted it. Go out there, lead a lap, get that point, right? You don't know if this 16 is going to survive. Get the points you can while you can control that at least.
Yeah, definitely different strategies, different points, scenarios running through these drivers' head. These guys are so tight in points that 1 point could make a difference. Remember, Justin Parham eliminated going into the round of 8 by just 1 point. So that could have been a stage win. That could have been a pole, putting him clear. So they definitely want to be leading one lap. They definitely need to win a stage. But right now, it's just back and forth. That outside lane with fewer cars really seems to be making it work. And then as soon as you think they're clear, that inside lane will undulate, come right back, and it's this back and forth. Look how many cars are on that inside lane now.
Bad push onto Owens. Wow, that was a big moment. Is it not interesting to you, Mean Gene, that the outside is clearly faster, but no one seems to want to be up there?
I think the outside lane proposes its own peril. If you're on that outside lane, you got the wall, which really hasn't come into effect much today, but the inside lane will come in. If they push up just a little bit, they can take you out. There's nowhere to go. So it's almost like a safety net. Stay on that bottom lane. If something happens, just dip below the red line. Don't gain a position and you're not going to be penalized. Just tap the brakes or let off, fade back, and you're safe. Outside lane, there's no parachute. You're on that outside lane, you're basically free falling without the reserve chute.
Yeah, you're totally right about that. I've actually brought up that exact thing about what I do at these races. When I'm racing, when I'm not hanging in the back waiting for my moment, but when I'm actually going for it, I refuse to leave the inside ever. And that includes at the end of the race. And the reason for that is exactly that. That wall, you can't escape into that. It's really hard and it damages your car. The grass, however, it's not like real life in that way with iRacing. I think oftentimes if you watch real NASCAR, when a car dives in the grass, you'll see it, dig in the splitter, do all kinds of damage. Sometimes it seems more violent than what the wall may have done if you had just pancaked it. However, in iRacing, it's kind of just like, it's like ice. It's not easy to steer through, but it's not going to damage your car. So I just dive into the grass, and I deal with it from there, because there's a lot of space down there. So you're right, Mean Gene, especially these guys like the David Cooks, the 16s of Mata, who actually is leading right now, but the guys that have already took on some damage in this race and don't have that fast repair, you do have to give yourself that easy exit. Same with someone like the 904 of Hillman. He's used this fast repair. He needs an easy way out if there is an incident in front of him, so great point.
And look at Jax Duvall making his way back up to the lead car on that inside lane. He's got real hard pushers with Owens, Hillman, and Cook. Parham with a big move to become the lead car on that inside lane. Parham was a playoff driver eliminated when we cut it down to 8. So he would love to stamp his name on a trophy here and prove that he could have been one of the guys in that championship 4. Lots of guys could have made their way into it. I mean, depending on how those crashes went, I think there was probably 10 or 11 guys that could have been in the Final Four.
Oh, 100%. It was so unpredictable. Even looking at the round of 8 we have now, I so often think that drivers that aren't in it are because of just how much parity was in this league. I know. And keep your eye.
Iverson right there?
I was literally about to say that, Mean Gene. Keep your eye on that 13. Twice now in probably the past 5 laps, he's given the car in front of him a push they did not like. That sent them into the wall. That's why he found himself in the back of that pack initially and working his way back up. But that's how he got around the 57 to Guerin. He gave him a pretty sketchy push. It sent Guerin in the wall, and Iverson took him 3 wide. Tony Iverson, a great driver, obviously, but needs to figure out the consistency of these pushes at this racetrack right now because he cannot afford a wreck.
And he's in a Toyota. He's out there doing the Tokyo Drift. He needs to calm it down. That's twice I've seen that rear end start to come around. He's got no problem. He just leaves it buried. But a lesser driver would definitely be having issues. And if he keeps up this speed, he might be one of the drivers having an issue with it. Wow, Parham and Duvall just switching lanes.
Saw that too.
So quickly.
That was a fascinating one too. Because I was thinking
Lots of laps on these tires to be doing this.
Oh, it's such a good point. Yeah, you're right. 30 plus for those guys specifically. And I was thinking of that moment right there. I was like, if I'm Iverson, get down there, go lead that line. And right when I'm thinking that, Parham shoots up and bails in the whole lane, and that would have killed his run. But right now, if I'm Iverson, get down there, lead that bottom line. But nope, it might be too late. As here comes Jackson. Looks like finally that inside line might be picking up some momentum. But I think they're getting choked down on these corners or something, Mean Gene, because they just cannot get any meaningful momentum. And there goes Iverson to the bottom. Let's see if it's a little bit too little too late. That's a big gap to the 84. It would have been a little bit better when the 84 had the run to him. But this will...
All right, let's see.
And he's going to try to slot back
60. Lap 60, this is for 1 point. Whoever leads at the end of this lap is going to get that point.
Good point. Man, that went by fast, didn't it? This would be a huge moment for the 16 of Michael Mata if he can hold on. Someone who's not had the playoffs he won with that disconnection last week.
2 teammates behind him.
So they shouldn't do anything with 2 non-playoff driver teammates as well. And there goes Iverson, going to shoot for it. Contact.
Oh, Bobby Dodson says, no, that's my teammate getting that point.
That's a good teammate right there.
Bobby. That's how you end a run. You say, hey, if you see some knucklehead trying to take my point, could you door him?
You know, Mata looked in his rearview mirror. He's like, I love you, buddy. Give him a beer for that one.
Wow, so Bobby Dodson is going to get a case of beer from Michael Mata after that maneuver.
Very nice.
Congratulations to Mata for getting that point. He needs it after the disappointment last week, getting disconnected. And right now, MC Motorsports is leading it, Zach. Look at these 3 guys go. And Brandon Guerin is still up in the mix. Got Parham right behind him. That's that outside row. Inside row, a little bit more interesting, a little bit more diverse, as you see Owens, Iverson, and Duvall trying to make it work for them.
Yeah, one of the best Oh, I see a little blinking there by the 57 of Guerin. You saw that got the field a little bit sketchy there. Man, you saw the reaction from Parham.
Parham went in the wall. Parham right into the wall, got whacked by the 28 of Marrow.
Yeah, Parham reacted to that. It looked like he let out the gas a little bit, and Marrow's like, he'll show back up, and he just kept his foot in it and almost creating an incident there. Lucky out of it.
Yeah, there was a spark. I saw some sparks.
Oh, absolutely. Want to shout you out for the sentence of the year right there, Mean Gene. You just hit the whole podium of the stage there in one sentence, and it just sounded like beautiful. So great job for that. That was awesome. But huge for Michael Mata there. And I was gonna say right when the stage is over, you can see the intensity kind of go down, but that was only for about 30 feet. And now these guys are going crazy again.
There's no way at this point. Your adrenaline's pumping. You can't slow the thing down. It's up to you to just be smart. Like right there, you could see the 57 lets off, even though he had enough momentum to get into the 32, get his front wheel next to the rear wheels. He lets off, he stays in line. Now is not the time to do that. And the smarter drivers, we're going to see them doing that. The more aggressive drivers, the guys at the bottom, though, they got to take those chances. And there's one, Marrow, with a sharp cut down. He's going to try to lead that inside lane and get a push from Owens and Iverson. And that might be what that inside lane needed. It needed one more car.
Yeah, it did. You're right. And let's see if it does anything meaningful. And also, Mean Gene, this will be lap 54 for Jonathan Quesabir since he's last pit. I cannot believe that car still has fuel in it, so you'd have to think that 6 is coming down the pits sometime soon. But that also tells me that, you know, every car besides him is at least 13 laps less on this current run, so they should all have considerably more fuel than that 6 a case of beer does. So I'm sure that 6 really not wanting to pit until he absolutely has to, but don't be surprised when you see him duck to that bottom line. I cannot imagine that 6 has much fuel left in that car.
That'll probably be an indicator that it's time to pit whenever he gives up that outside lane, because right now those 3 MC Motorsports cars just taking it to the limit on that outside. I'll tell you though, if I'm his buddy, even though I'm a few laps, I have more gas in my tank, I probably go with him, because this has been the winning combination. Once these 3 cars got together on the outside, they just started dominating this thing. And Brandon Guerin in that 57 Cobalt Chevrolet, he's kind of a teammate by default, a de facto member, because he's just followed behind Bobby Dodson.
And yeah, that's a really, really good point. So often we talked about this, I believe, at
Here
Daytona.
he goes. He's down there.
Yep, there he goes. You want to pit with your teammates because you want to come out of the pits with your teammates to keep that draft going. That's everything at these tracks. You can't run by yourself. You'll lose seconds. But with that move right there, that tells me that he's likely coming in alone. His teammates are going to let him out. I mean, a 1-lap differential wouldn't be too much, but again, Mean Gene, they have a lot more fuel. As here comes in the 6 a case of beer. I mean, yeah, these guys can stay up for 15 more laps, Mean Gene. That's not, I mean, especially if you're Michael Mata and you're in the playoffs, that is not his problem.
No, I agree. Bobby Dodson is all you need.
Mm-hmm. You're so right about that.
To push you. I was going to try to sing a Beatles song out of that, but I spared the audience. All you need is Bobby.
Okay, look at Duvall also going down to the bottom with no help. That could be a pit stop, because I can't imagine why else he'd want to do that, but no, that 84 is still going. So I am curious to know if other cars are going to want to follow that 6 of case of beer into the pits. I don't know why you would, Mean Gene. Me personally, I would not. That's
I'm pushing this thing.
Yeah, that's a Jonathan
problem. Because we know
problem.
you can make it at least 54 laps with 3 cautions.
Yep.
That's what we just saw. 54 laps with 3 cautions is as far as you can push that car. Right now we're at lap 70. There's 50 more laps to go. So in theory, you want to push these 14, come in, fill it up, and that should be the end of the fuel runs.
Yeah.
Even if it stays green, I would think.
And look at the 6 a case of beer, a lap down, and 50 lap old tires or not, you're not getting that lap back here. It's not going to happen, buddy. He's going to need a caution for it to happen. So if that was to happen to a playoff driver, that would be catastrophic for them. But even that said, Case of Beer, a guy who can very much win this race. He was a lap down on Thursday and still got it done. I would not be in a rush to help him out. Even if he was my teammate, I would want that 6 a lap down. He is a problem in terms of his speed and his ability at these tracks. But these guys, very, very aggressive. If I'm Case of Beer, just run that next tank dry. You should be able to get that lap back, and he'll probably have a shot at it before this thing is over, because these guys are going hard, and they all know they have to pit again, and they don't know what everyone else's situation is in terms of fuel. So they're probably wanting a caution.
Right now, 13 cars still in that lead group. And if you keep an eye, you got that 21, it's a Ford Ranger car. Isn't that a song? The Black Rifle Coffee Company 21 Ford and Buddy Sully, he is the last car in that group of 13. So he's still keeping his dream alive to continue to gain points and push forward. Remember, he's tied with David Owens. Owens running up in 4th, but Sully, he did use that fast repair, I think, to the best of my knowledge. So Sully just kind of riding around, keeping it close. 26 right in front of him, Mason Smalley. Smalley has been eliminated, but he is a teammate of Mero. So we'll see exactly how these guys can work it out. Mero running up in 8th. 13 cars on that lead lap right now. And we're going to start counting, right? When we're going to take off everybody's shoes. Lap 49 now on these cars running this fuel. So what do you think? 4 or 5 more laps since that time?
Yeah, I think so, because like we talked about, there's no way Case of Beer pit any earlier than he had to. So yeah, I would agree with that. 3 to 4 more laps. As you see, the 16 Amata and his teammate of the 32 at Dodson working their way to the inside line together. As we ride on board with Dodson right now, I just took you guys through a few of the onboards here to show you just the intensity, and look at this line of cars going around on Owens going around the top of them, and as they catch the traffic there in front of them, Oh boy, let's take a look at how this plans out. This is never a fun moment.
No. And you can see Brandon Guerin rubbed Fritz a little hard right there. Fritz made his way up onto that top, and there's Owens now pushing his way down. Owens also 51 laps into this run, so he needs to come in. I think we're going to see a big party. I think it's going to look like a parade coming in.
I think so too, and that's when you see incidents as well. I mean, Gene, you see a lot of cars try to get greedy, try to bring it in hot, and that's when you see spins that don't bring out cautions that can potentially ruin races. So I'm hoping this stays green, honestly. I love crowded green flag pit stops at a track like this where you have to bring it down from, what, like 185 to 55 in a matter of football field. So going to be really fun to watch, and look at these guys desperate to get to the bottom. 52 laps on this current run for them. I'm assuming a lot of them need to come in this time. Here we go.
Yeah, this thing is going to be chaos as they are trying to make their way. All these cars on the bottom, they're happy with their current position. They just need to communicate a little bit what they're going to do. I think it could be okay, but like you said, it's going to be chaos. And hey, chaos is a ladder. Some people, they fall apart. Other people, they'll rise. And we're going to see exactly people's pitting ability because there's so many factors. Do you speed coming in? Do you miss your pit stall? Do you speed coming out? Do you make contact? Do you spin? We've seen lots of cars spin this year just trying to go in to that pit stall. So this thing is going to be wild. We saw Cookie spin too, if I remember correctly.
I think everyone in this league has spun entering pit road, me included in Thursday night. MRL this year, I spun coming up pit road. It's so much more difficult than it looks, and what you oftentimes don't do when you're practicing before these races is put 40, 50 laps on your tires and then try to get in the pits. Because you think you have it down, but you haven't accounted for the wear on these tires, and it makes it a whole different set of issues. And here we go with the 16 to 32, the teammates, and that looks fast. The 32 does not get clean. 32 is not getting clean. That's going to be a pit road penalty for sure, so they just lost that 32 to help them out. That, and who knows, Mean Gene, who sped there, that was not clean by any means from almost anybody.
Nope, David Cook coming in with them, David Owens right behind them, so there is a lot of insanity.
Now let's look at
down
Fritz.
in pit road. Oh, I'm sorry, Owens stayed out. My bad,
Yeah.
That was a different white car.
Here comes Iverson. He got off the apron pretty well. Iverson's loose. Can he keep it? He's gonna. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Is that gonna be a caution? What do you? No, what do you say?
I heard.
Oh.
Coming from the 11. Oh, it was puckering. He was puckering David
Oh
Owens.
my! That's gonna cost Iverson a world of time, Mean Gene. Because what didn't he do there?
He didn't pit.
He didn't pit. That doesn't change
He kept on going.
So that does not change the current situation, mind you. Like, does he even have enough fuel to get around? Oh man!
He avoided it. He avoided a penalty though.
Let's listen in.
Splash and go, Owens. Splash and go.
Interesting from Owens. Take a splash go as we're right on board with Iverson one more time as he tries this again. No reason to get greedy here. Do not make this worse than it has to be. And listen to that conservative entry. Well done that time by Iverson. That was millimeters from ruining Owens' day as well.
Yeah, that was wild. But you know what? This race is a situation of millimeters. David Owens back on the track now. You can see that second group about to eat him up. And here they come.
Cook and Swingle with a massive moment there. I don't know what happened there. Let's see, Swingle on his 10th lap of this run. He's currently 2 laps down, probably trying to get a few of them back. David Cook wanting to catch that group in front of him, seeing that Owens did a different strategy, not wanting to wait. There he goes, gets the help from Hillman on the outside as they make it past Swingle. That could have been huge from another car. Cannot afford another incident. Our only car left out on the field right now is the 57 of Garand, all by himself in the lead, getting some laps led. But let's see, he's been on for 52 laps, so Garand's going to definitely have to come in soon. But who I think
He'd love a wreck right now. He'd love a wreck.
Oh, he'd love a wreck right now. He gets the pit, and he gets to still start in the lead if that happens. And so it looks like Duvall is coming in right now as well, Mean Gene. And here comes Duvall exiting. Let's see where he blends, because Duvall looked like he did a great job there. I can't tell if that's in front or behind. That's in front. So Duvall is going to cycle to the lead. Big move by Jax Duvall, but now the problem becomes, Mean Gene, this momentum that this field's about to catch him with, this could cost him probably the entire pack, right? He could go all the way back here.
He's Florida, man. He is going to just blend right up in front of them and look like Ryan Newman. He don't care.
Yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if
Here
that's
it
what happens
comes.
now. Here we go.
Here it comes.
And Jax,
Oh, he made it
uncharacteristically.
conservative.
Yeah. I think he can slot in right behind Tillman here. And it'll be no harm, no foul. He tries
Mario's
to,
gonna
not
go
able
up
to.
high. Yeah. Yeah, Mero and Smalley, the M&M boys, they got together. Parham is the one that finally tries to pick up Duval and pushes him a little bit. That's that 18 of Justin Parham, Matthew Fritz right behind.
Oh.
Duval says, "Hey, Mata, you're too fast." I'm gonna whack you.
That was a
And now I'm
snappy
gonna whack
move.
Mero.
That was
And now I'm gonna-
sick.
Now I'm going to hit Smalley. Golly,
Wow.
Duval.
I like
Bring
that.
it in, buddy.
That was
Bring it in.
snappy, though. That was snappy. That was some confidence from the 84 of Jax Duval, and who else but him? That was cool. I like that. But
He said, "I can't block you, so I'll just door everyone else." Once we get together.
it's also just kind of amazing how you can't win, can you, Mean Gene? Like, you come out in front of the pits in a dream scenario, 4 seconds in front of everybody, and within one lap, you are back here in the thick of it. These tracks are just brutal in a million ways. And also, it's always amazing to me that these guys, all had to do green flag pit stops. There's so many variables with those. But what happens, they all find themselves together again. Just goes to show how much talent is on this racetrack. But also, no real theme in terms of undercut, overcut. Again, because tires aren't everything here. It's more about who you're running with when you do have to pit. But the cars who are in the back of that pack who pit towards the end of the cycle now find themselves in the lead.
Yep, and Brandon Garrett, he waited so long hoping that he could do something.
Here comes
now
Iverson.
finds himself 8 seconds behind that lead team. Yep, Iverson, Owens, and Buddy Sully. Buddy Sully finally made his way up into the front after all those early incidents. We'll see if he can keep this thing going. I tell you though, new tires, does that mean you can ride the inside again?
With more confidence, but I don't think you're going to get that speed, right? Like, I don't think we're going to all of a sudden see the inside be fast enough to hang with the outside when the outside was doing what it was doing earlier in this race. Wow, Parham. Wow. Justin Parham, that was a beautiful save. I don't know if it was that off the front bumper of the 13 or if he just got loose on the exit, but that could have been bad. I think it's with confidence now, Mean Gene. You can kind of wrap that bottom and not be so worried about sliding up at half lane and something like that happening. But I would, if you're with a 16, that 13, that 71R, rip the top. That's what the speed's in.
31 laps to go, so they're going to ride this thing out. I think, little wiggle by Hunter Hall back there. Hillman now, I'm getting interested.
Make up your mind, Alex.
But I think they're going to leave this thing green. If it stays green, all these guys have got enough fuel. It's just a question of who took how many tires. David Owens with that 12.9 second pit stop. I guess he did take some tires and I just missed it.
So 12 would be either an insanely fast 4 or 2 with a lot of extra fuel. So that'll be interesting. Maybe it is 4, but I don't know. I wonder how much people valued tires this late in the race, especially in a green flag pit stop, but you really don't want to risk losing the pack. You don't know what everyone else is doing also, right? Like if they're not taking tires and you do, that can cost you the race. So I don't know.
Severe showed that it can be done.
Yeah, he did.
He rode on old tires for 54 laps.
Right. So if you're someone else in the field and you obviously know that because you know how he got that track position, you're probably thinking, oh, so we don't need those things. So yeah, I'm looking at the times. I'm seeing what I think is probably a lot of 2s and a few 4s. And I think a lot of people also had to take different amounts of fuel than others, which definitely played into how long their pit stops were. But, man, this thing is intense now as we see Matthew Fritz. Let's talk more about that 48 of Fritz real quick. Look at this guy. He is in our round of 8. This would be an enormous win for him as you see the 27 club essentially be like, we don't want to be part of this club anymore. But Matthew Fritz showing up when it matters. He has been here all season. He's been a top 5, top 10 driver. He's, this is the furthest thing from an insult, but he hasn't showed that real winning speed in this league yet, which I wouldn't. I'm not as good as a lot of these guys are.
I think he showed the winning speed, Zach. I think he hasn't shown the killer instinct.
The winning moves,
I don't think he's willing to go under somebody and put him up in the wall and say, my bad.
Yeah, or just send it.
We'll
Truly
talk
send
after
it.
the trophy ceremony.
Good point. You're right.
I'll apologize after the trophy ceremony. I did see him win a truck race, though, just this last week, so he's got that taste of victory in his mouth. He was 4th in points dropped 2 spots after Darlington into 6th. So Fritz needs something good to happen right here, and that clean air with Justin Parham behind him, that could just be the recipe he needs to put together a really tasty meal.
Yeah, definitely, and this is everything coming to fruition for Fritz right now with only 27 laps to go and a clean track in front of him. And a lot of cars going nowhere for it. And his teammate behind him. I mean, can you ask for a better situation?
Is his teammate.
And a teammate with no incentive to, besides the trophy, but no incentive to race for that big championship opportunity. Parham, our first car not to make the round of 8. Someone who again, when I was talking about earlier, like, I think a lot of people who are in the round of 8 who aren't. Parham is the first one who comes to mind here. It always shocks me that he's not, because, man, this guy is impressive.
Yep, Michael Mata running 3rd. Tony Iverson, he's the 4th car, but he is 1 lap down after all of that foolishness. So Iverson would love to see a caution so he could lucky dog his way up. 25 laps to go here. These guys are wide open, and David Owens running in 4th. He's the 5th car. Running in 4th is in striking distance. Zach, how has David Owens not won a race this year? Last year, the guy wins 5 races. Almost takes the title. This year, no wins. The field is just that fast. Are we looking at David Owens waning, or are we looking at the league waxing?
It's definitely the latter. I mean, David Owens, the all-time win leader in MRL when it comes to every series, and it's going to be this series one day too. I know right now it's Volpus, but Owens in the truck series of MRL that I run in is the godfather of that league. He's the tribal chief, the big boss man, and it's a similar situation in a lot of other leagues. I know Wednesday Xfinities is his league, and he's exceptional in those cars as well. So it is shocking whether or not the league has caught up with him. It's still shocking to see that 11 car not reach victory lane with only 3 races left to go, including this one in our entire season. But Owens is also one of those guys that's too good to not be there up until now in the round of 8, right? And he can easily get in the championship race, and just watch that be the one time he visits victory lane, right?
Look at Iverson.
What
this
a move.
Guy is all over the track. He goes high, he goes low.
One thing I want to bring attention to super quick about Iverson that forgot to bring this up a second ago. He needs to stay in front of that 97 right there, which is not far behind by any means of Richard Swingle. That is the next car a lap down. If he loses a space to that 97, he will not get his lap back if we get a caution. So Iverson does have to be aggressive here, Mean Gene.
Where is Hunter Hall? Hunter Hall also part of
Hall
that.
is right there as well. Right in front of Regal. So good observation. You're right. It is now Hall as well. So Hall right there, only, 3 cars behind Iverson.
Yeah, that's just something to keep an eye on. Bobby Dodson, Jack Sanders, they're the other cars a lap down. They are well behind right now back there with Jonathan Casabir, about to be put 2 laps down, actually. So tough day for the 32 and the 6. But their job was to push their buddy Michael Mata up into the front. Mata with that stage win, and now Mata in 3rd place, chasing down Fritz and Parham. But
and
hey,
Lappers.
How about Noma Sports, man? Looking good right now. Matthew Fritz, Justin Parham out there collecting points. Fritz is definitely going to get 1 extra point for that lead, but he is 6 points behind that 4th place spot of Buddy Sully and David Owens. And Owens running 4th and 6th, so it's going to take that dub to push Fritz up over the top, I think. They've only got 1 more race before elimination. They'll be at Richmond, and that track's pretty crazy, too. Now is the time for Matthew Fritz.
Yeah, this is do or die for Matthew Fritz. I totally agree. It's not points-wise, technically, but if I'm him, this is a must-win. There are 19 laps to go. You're in the lead. Get this thing done. It's a must-win.
I wonder if Parham is a Bobby Dodson teammate.
Yeah, right.
Will he make sure that his teammate wins this thing?
Yeah, that's gonna be a big thing.
How much is he willing to give to make it happen?
Very true. Does he want to take him side by side if we get to the white flag and, I've done what I can for you. Now let's race this thing out. You're so right about that. How unselfish will he be? And keep your eye in this group of 3 in front of them. I think it's actually 4, Mean Gene. This could be problematic. These are cars that have 4 cars, Dodson included, no incentive whatsoever to make it easy on this lead group. None.
No. No, because they want their buddy Mata to win. And it's Case of Beer and it's Bobby Dodson. And those two dudes, we've already seen Bobby door somebody to make sure that Mata took the stage. How far is Bobby Dodson willing to go? You know, Bobby Dodson is one of the incident leaders, so he is an aggressive driver, and he's a hell of a good teammate. So those two things put together ought to make it an interesting day for Noma Motorsports. Hell, if I'm Fritz, I might tell Parham, hey, take the lead for just a minute and punch a hole through those two guys.
Yeah, you handle it, man.
You got this. I got your back.
That's so true, Mean Gene, honestly.
Way back. But Mata's not going to put up with that. And Iverson, you know, he'll get his lap back the old-fashioned way. On that bottom lane, you got Hillman and Cook. They've been fast all day. Jax Duvall, he's led this thing. He got the pole. So there's really nowhere to go. Nowhere is safe right now. That outside lane is faster once again. But that inside lane is full of hungry wolves.
It is, that outside lane. And again, it's about the same amount of cars. Maybe a tiny bit more on the inside, but doesn't matter. The inside lane can't do anything of real importance, of real impact all race. It's been quite fascinating, to be honest. I can't believe we only have 15 to go, Mean Gene. The race has gone by way too fast.
I thought that when I attended Atlanta this year as well, they had a playoff race for the Cup Series in Atlanta, and I thought the same thing. The race was just over entirely too quickly, but it did end the proper way, so I was very happy about that. But right now here today...
Oh, contact with Cook and Owens back there. They gathered it up.
Hungry Cook.
Big moment, though. And here they come to the lappers. Here we go. This is the moment of the race right here. It looks like they might hug the bottom for Fritz. Let's see. So far, the class
wide open
is there. Parham just saying, I got you, man. I'm going to push you as hard as I can. Let's get this over with.
What's Iverson going to do here? Is he going to try to push through, or do you think he's just going to fall in behind Mata, stick with these faster cars? Or
go three wide. Or go three wide. Oh, Iverson.
All right, so that's going to slow it all down. Iverson's going down low. Staying with that group is going to cause a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
That outside lane just does not have the momentum now to get by. That side drafting air, it's not clean air, and that's not letting Fritz just go through easy. Iverson trying to go low under Brandon Guerin. That'll mess things up.
Him at 57. They have not linked up well.
Iverson eats him up a little bit. I think Iverson is going to try to piecemeal his way through that inside lane, get to the front.
I think so too, Mean Gene. And that 57 and that 13 have not linked. Every time those two get together, within a turn or two, something seems to go wrong. But I didn't expect this to happen. I thought the 48 and the 18 were going to blow right by that inside line. I'm a little bit surprised with how quickly it evened out.
They would have with Iverson. With Iverson pushing, I think they would have. But Iverson knows if they just get through, this is a clean race. It stays green. Right now, everything's up in the air. We're one mistake, one hiccup away from a caution. That puts Iverson back on the lead lap, and he'd still be as fast as everybody else and have a shot to get that W. Right now, finally, we see that outside lane of Noma Motorsports, of Fritz and Parham make their way.
Oh, big hit! Oh my goodness! Oh wow! He is more than upside down. He was in the wall, or he was in the air, and that was not good. He was in the air for a half a year. I think that was Morrow. That's out. Austin Merrow is in space right now.
Oh, he did.
He is in space. Oh my goodness! This was a brutal wreck.
Style.
It was Iverson again. There just wasn't room there.
Case of Beer and Iverson get together.
And that's gravity, as John Mayer would say.
Wow, look at Mason Smalley.
Where's he gonna land? And look at David Owens just watching, be like, please just keep rolling and away from me.
Wow, if you aim for the smoke and drop the hammer, he would have been in trouble.
That 904 Pillman done for the day without a doubt.
Hunter Hall slamming brakes. Case of Beer sideways.
Case of Beer. I don't know if he's used his faster. Owens, I think, got out of there scot-free.
Well, this is what we're going to see. Let's see what Owens he does. He cuts down.
Oh, sorry about that. We say so many good things, rightfully so, about that 13 and Tony Iverson. He is such a good driver. Today has not been his finest day. He has struggled to give consistent and reliable pushes. And this right here, in my opinion, Mean Gene, was just getting greedy.
That ain't his job to push you to a win.
No, it's not, but this lane simply isn't there.
It is there. Look at that.
Yeah, let's see. Maybe I'm wrong.
And then it vanishes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that one, Mean Gene.
That's net code. That's net code. Go back. That's net code.
I will. I want a better. Let's get behind this as well too.
Because look, watch his right side tires.
All right, let's go back.
There you go. Watch his right side tires once they touch, or left side tires when they touch that lane. Boom. He's on that lane. Oh, maybe
I mean, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, and this hit. Wow.
Wow.
I feel so bad for that 28 or 26. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
of Mason Smalley. And I'm sorry, I thought that was Mero at first. That was not Mero. That was Smalley. I apologize.
They're the M&M boys. Those guys are best friends since childhood. You know, 26 and the 28. They know each other.
Now he just lost his best friend. It's gone forever.
Yeah.
Ready for this ride?
Here we go. I'm upside down.
Wow. That happened so fast. There's no way he had any idea what happened there. No way.
Look at him. And he doesn't take the hands off the wheel. He don't care about his thumbs at all.
Oh, or wrist. His wheel disconnected. Did you see that? Watch his steering wheel, Mean Gene. His steering wheel disconnected from the hit.
Watch that.
So watch. He's angled, and then he's going to get hit. And watch the second this massive hit happens. Watch his wheel. Disconnected. Yeah. That broke his wheel. See, guys, iRacing, it actually is legitimately dangerous sometimes. That broke his steering wheel.
I wonder, hopefully his hardware is okay.
I hope he actually did, like, for real, take his wrists off the wheel. You could actually get hurt if you have a nice enough wheel. You could absolutely hurt your wrist there.
Oh, one of those scary fan attack.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've had one, Gene, where if I didn't, that would not have been good. So let's see what David Owens saw here. Oh.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
This is incredible wreck avoidance, by the way. Hats off to David Owens. Just lock it down. God, that was a brutal hit.
Look at his throttle, though. He's hitting the brakes, but he's still whacking the throttle to keep control of the car.
Unreal.
So the rear end doesn't come around.
So it's a good point and good observation. Wow, that was a big one. So, sorry, guys. We're going green next time around. We're going to have 6 to go.
New race leader, number 16 of Michael Mata. But he ain't got his boys up there to help him. So Mata, Cook, and Owens choose to stay out. 6 laps to go, 5 after they take this green. The pace car is off. Mata is your control car on the inside. He goes green. Owens sticks to him like glue. Cook falls behind. Justin Parr, Matthew Fritz, 4th and 5th. Let's see how quickly the Noma guys get together. They're side by side right now as David Cook is causing a problem for them.
6 to go, and it's all to play for. I believe Tony Iverson may have been a part of that wreck. He did not get the lucky dog. Tony Iverson still a lap down, but here we go. Michael Mata trying to punch his ticket to the championship race, as is David Owens as he looks to the outside. Both of these drivers in the round of the 8 looking as well as Fritz. All 3 of these guys can punch their ticket to the championship race if they win this. Oh boy.
This is the same story from last year. They did a restart with 6 laps to go and Owens took the win. All of a sudden, it's a restart with 6 laps to go and David Owens is leading this thing. Owens is on older tires. Fritz Duval cuts to the inside. He's got momentum. I think Jax Duval might take the lead.
Jax Duval, our pole sitter, is out of nowhere. He's had speed all day. He's been waiting for his moment. Could this be it? Could he be the one to make the bottom work, as it looks like Owens is going to lead 1 more lap than he led last year? That's going to be 2 laps led by David Owens. Can he get it done? 4 to go until one of these guys is racing for a championship.
Nova Motorsports is on the outside. They're the 2nd and the 3rd car. If they could get by Owens, they want to stay together. We saw the success that MC Motorsports had when they stayed together. And you know that that's in the back of their head, but he might have to make a move. Fritz, this is the time. Fritz has been so consistent, so patient, and so kind to the other drivers. This is the moment for the 48. He's got to make that move. Apologize while you're up there on the podium. Tell him you're sorry after you get the trophy, Fritz. He's got to make a move. That inside lane, though, is coming very strong.
Here he goes.
Now. Mata fading back.
The 84 gets it. Oh, in that straightaway, they don't get the run they need, but you're right. Fritz does. This is the moment, but when, Mean Gene, when? Is it with 2 to go? Is it with 1 to go? Is it with 1 corner to go? When does Matthew Fritz want to make his move as they are still side by side? The 28 of Smalley doing the right thing, getting to the bottom of the track, letting these guys race it out. 2 to go. If we get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. This is unbelievably intense.
It's insane. Tony Iverson back there still doing Tony Iverson Atlanta things. Look at Parham. He's trying to stay with his teammate, but that inside
There goes Fritz.
The move. Fritz with the move.
Fritz to the
His
bottom.
teammates with him.
And Parham gets it. Unbelievable. Parham can help him. He gets turned. Will he get to the? Will they get to the caution is out. Iverson's race is over. Mata's race is over. Iverson and Mata will not be restarting, which means they won't be finishing the race, which means they'll be essentially in must wins. Fritz will need to hold on for 2 laps. Oh my God, I'm shaking.
100 feet away from this thing being over. I thought for sure Parham had made it down there as well. Look at Mata and Iverson into each other.
Oh,
Parham
my gosh.
was there. He was there, Zach.
He fell on his sword for his teammate. That was an awesome thing to see. And yeah, understandably, Jack's saying, I don't care. Get out of my way. I'm going to win this thing. Sends him up the track.
You ever been to Florida?
And once again, oh my gosh, David Owens for about the 5th time this race sees his life flash before his eyes, gets through it. And now look at the 13 and the 16, 2 of our championship favorites, race over. Both of them. Huge.
Brandon Guerin thought he was going to make it through there. He might have.
Oh, no, he did not.
Hard.
Oh, did you see his hood reform there? That was interesting.
Oh, he's done.
But,
he did.
Oh, he did. And speaking of the 13 and the 16, 2 guys who we felt like would be almost surefire guys that punch their tickets to race for a championship are going to be in a tough, Mata especially, tough situations at Richmond.
Yeah, Richmond, not where MC Motorsports is known to thrive. So those guys are going to have to put in a lot of hours to get a really good run on that smaller track. We just got our first race ender. Alex Hillman has taken it behind the wall, so the 904 officially out. I'll tell you, with all the wrecks and excitement, I can't believe only 1 car has pulled it into the trailer.
I agree. It's honestly kind of shocking, and I can't believe it even took Hillman that long with that damage he just got. So I'm assuming it was right here, Mean Gene. I think this was how close Matthew Fritz was to.
I mean, the question is, do you give Duval an EOL?
For that move? No. All bets are off. It's the end of the race. Justin Parham knew what he was doing when he made that move. And I don't mean that in a bad way towards Parham at all. They were coming to the white flag. And I think Parham was probably even willing for that to happen if it just happened 100 yards later.
Yeah. Wow.
Because, wow, that would have been beautiful.
They made that move. I thought he was there. But Duval just was getting that push from Owens and managed to make enough contact to keep this race extended. 10 cars on the lead lap right now. Matthew Fritz is going to be in the lead. Jax Duval, David Owens, David Cook, Buddy Sully, Austin Merrow, Brandon Guerin. Looks like Justin Parham is somehow managed to stay on the lead lap.
That 13 runs. Unbelievable.
In the 13, he's still out there.
Parham's out here.
Yeah, Parham must have had a fast repair.
He must have. Wow, good for him. So get back out there. I'll tell you this right now, Mean Gene, that 48 needs help. The 84 and the 11 are friends. They're going to gang up on him. I can almost guarantee you that. I don't expect the 11 to give him any real help once we go green here. He's probably going to have to hope that Cook can get linked up to him somehow. Fritz is going to have to hope that.
It has to be Cook because that, or maybe 32 of Bobby Dodson.
Or the 21.
Yeah, Sully's a buddy of Owens, so I would imagine if Sully's going to push anybody, it would be Owens. And maybe Owens abandons Jax Duval knowing he could have the help of Buddy Sully. So all of these scenarios might help Matthew Fritz. The only thing that's going to kill Fritz is if Duval or Owens have already had the conversation
Yeah.
You take this one and then help me at Richmond.
Yep, you're right. But that's
Pace car is off. Matthew Fritz has got control. Remember, this is a green-white checker.
This is gonna be a big jump by Fritz. This is gonna be a big jump by Fritz. Here we go.
Hard push by Owens.
Really hard. Does Owens try to go to the top here? Let's see. Not clear yet, but don't be surprised if he does. Fritz has to keep. Oh. Watch for that 11 to go to the top with the 84 to follow him.
That's still on the bottom as well. Suddenly it's the 28 of Miro and the 71.
There it is. There's the move we knew would come. 11 around goes 97. Can they?
Swindle is around.
We're gonna get a yellow, or we're not. We're not. We're still green. Mean Gene Swingle's around. We're still green. There's Parham. There's Parham to try to help out his teammate. What an incredible teammate the 18 is. But oh man, I hope the damage isn't done here. Owens to the lead. 1 to go.
There it is.
This is gonna be it. We have 1 lap to go. David Owens is in the lead.
And Cook is in the front of that inside lane. Matthew Fritz, Noma Motorsports. I think their run is over. The question now is, can David Owens hold off Cook?
Oh!
The 28 cuts down hard. Mero, he wants the win. He makes contact
Hard side
with
draft.
Jax Duvall. David Owens still in the lead. Owens trying to get help from Jax Duvall.
Jax is gonna go for it here, and he sends him around. It looks like it's gonna be Duvall. It's gonna be Jax Duvall. It's gonna be racing for a championship. Duvall gets it done. Unbelievable. And oh man, my heart breaks for Fritz. He finishes at 6th place. My heart breaks for David Owens.
Ever been to Florida?
Wow.
You ever been on an airboat in the swamp?
Now I feel like I have.
I tell you what, and fried green tomatoes. Holy smokes!
Wow. So I was saying it as we were coming. I said that 84 is not going to help the 11 anymore. They've done what they have to do. All bets are off from this point on. I knew the 84 was going to go for it. So let's see if there's any contact here. Little bit there gets Owens loose. Down he goes in the 28. And again, keep your foot in it if you're the 84.
That right rear. He's pushing that right rear bumper. That's dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Intentionally dangerous. And Fritz, so close, but Duvall sees the Red Seas part. And all he has to do is drive through it.
Cook, Owens, and Bobby get into it. Brandon Guerin keeps it buried.
Guerin takes that 2nd place, and Parham with a well-deserved 3rd. Mayhem behind them, no pun intended, as Cook goes in for another head-in hit. Mero to 4th, Sully 5th. That's a great finish for Sully in the situation he was in. Fritz, again, man, 6th place for him. Owens 7th, Case of Beer 8th, Hunter Hall 9th. Well done, Hunter. And David Cook, who was seemingly, it looked like to me, I think he may have gotten DQ'd on incidents because I think he should be more than 10th. I think that's a DQ.
All right, let's interview 5 people.
Yeah.
Let's just do 5, and I'll pick one first. And I think after all of that insanity, I'm going to go.
Oh, feelings are hurt.
Somebody. I know.
We don't have very many people in here. Like, there's usually a lot of people desperate to be interviewed.
They're probably talking with each other about what just happened.
That's what I'm saying. Like, look at the certain amount of people in the rooms together right now. There's some conversations happening right now.
Yeah, there are. All right, so I'm going to pull this guy down, and he's talking to his teammate about what just happened. So I'm gonna pull him away, and he doesn't even know it yet. Let's see what he has to say. Here we go.
My guess is Mr. Parham.
Nah.
Ooh, Mr. Fritz. Oh, Smalley.
Hey, Matthew Fritz. Main Gene Money here. You got your ears on, buddy.
Oh, yes, sir.
Man, oh man, you were there, my friend. Take me through the end there.
It was wild, crazy, like every super speedway. It's going to be crazy. But I think me and Justin had it if he was pushing me.
100 yards away.
I know, man.
Oh, man. I'm so sad for you, Matt. Oh.
Yeah, I know.
You know, we've been talking earlier. I've been busting your chops a little bit about being too nice, being too kind. You know, you're a consistent driver. You're a fast driver, and we were waiting to see when you were going to put your nose in places where you walk away with a dirty Sanchez. And I thought today was the day. You stuck your nose a couple of really crazy spots. And people recognized how fast you were, gave you that opportunity. That last caution, you cut down hard. Your teammate went with you. We thought it was your day. And then at the end, not taking tires. Do you regret it?
No. We took tires at the second. I don't know. We had fresher tires, and no, I don't regret it at all.
Well, hell of a run, bud. We were rooting for you there at the end. Kind of in a must-win situation next week. How good are you? How good are you at Richmond?
Oh, that's my home track, so I think I'm pretty good there. So we'll see what we can do.
I'll tell you what, Matthew Fritz, he's in that 48 Chevrolet, and we're going to be pulling for you. Good luck next week, Matt. Anybody want to give a shout to?
I think my mom, Justin Parham, he pushed me. We had a chance. Jay, he's not here. He's not feeling well. He designed the paint scheme. My mom's business is on there, and I gotta thank you guys. I appreciate y'all putting it on and saying great stuff about us, and y'all do a hell of a job.
Hey, what business? What business is it? Where's it located?
Oh, it's at Front Row, Virginia. She does pet sitting for everybody, so it's on the hood. Jay made a great paint scheme for it.
There you go, guys. So if you're in Virginia, you need some pet sitting, you know who to get in touch with. Thanks so much, bud. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Hats off, Fritz, man. Great run, man. Wow, man, Gene. Great to finally talk to Matthew Fritz.
I had to, man.
No, it's great to finally talk to him.
The guy was on fire, man. I thought for sure today was his day. I thought for sure.
We almost lost our voice. Well,
all right, who you want? Not in the top three. Pick some. Who you want?
Okay, let me talk to. We got Austin Merrow here. What's up, Austin Merrow? How you doing, man?
Oh, it could be a lot better. I'm a little pissy, if you want me to be honest. This is the second time that this has happened to me at this kind of track. So, but that's this racing, I guess. Makes the viewers happy.
Well, I will tell you there was absolute craziness. So, vent away. What are you referring to? What happened again?
So made the right move. I mean, it was a textbook move, and had help from David Cook, and he ended up not being help at the end. So, just kind of disappointed with that. I got driven through, pretty easy to see. But that's what you gotta do in the last corner, I guess. So keeping that in mind heading into Richmond.
Yeah, I will tell you, it was essentially what was going on in the entire field coming to the line there. That was absolute craziness. But you're right. That move you made took our breath away, came out of nowhere, and it was textbook. Great way to describe it. What was it like out there today? We know what Talladega was like. Absolute just craziness, especially with, a lot of part-timers there. Today we had a lot of our full-time guys, but didn't seem to change the tempo. So what was it like out there today for you?
It was fun. It was competitive, just like normal. These guys we're good, and we can hold on to it. The difference between Dega and here is not as much track. If we had more track, we can do that 4 wide, 3 wide all the time. But forcing it here, it just isn't going to work, and that showed today with more cautions. So, but good job by all the guys. It was really fun, and want to thank my competition for being always competitive.
Yeah, that sure is true, man. They certainly are, and you included. You've been amazing to watch all season, and congrats on another great run, man. And I mean, like we've talked about all year, the parity is insane. You are definitely an example of one of those drivers that would be deep in the playoffs if it wasn't for just a ridiculous field that we have to deal with here and how hard it is to find success here. So great run today. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to Mason, my teammate. He always does a good job walking me through these races and doing it together. Thank you guys. Always doing a badass job up in the booth. We love you guys, and we love having you week in, week out. You guys are awesome. And thank you to MRL for always making it fun, and we'll get them next week.
Yes, sir. Congrats, man.
Thank you.
He came out of nowhere, man. I thought for sure he had a hot shot there. Got a little door-to-door with some people. He's right. If David Cook would have thrown in a little bit harder with him, who knows? We might have been talking about the 28 punching his way into that next round. Still, though, Merrow, he is only 4 points behind Owens for that 4th place spot. I saw you were doing the updated points. So, yeah, Merrow just 4 points back. Fritz just 5 points back of that 4th place line. Very exciting moving forward. Let's go ahead and talk to that 3rd place driver, though. Found his way up onto that podium. Justin Parham, you out there, buddy? Oh, Justin, I think he might be hiding. He's up there talking to his buddy. I got to pull him down.
Get him.
I got to break I got to break their party up.
Yeah. There you go.
There he is. Hey, Justin, you got your ears on, buddy.
Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell you what, man, you went for going for teammate of the year to finding yourself up on that podium, didn't you?
Yeah, it was a long race there.
100 yards away from watching your teammate win.
Yeah, some people just have no respect and drive right through you.
Well, I mean, the question
You
is,
put that in the memory bank and bring it back later.
I mean, the real question is, have you ever been to Florida?
Well,
He just took you there.
oh. Yeah, that's something you put in the memory bank and bring it back out later.
Well, I will say this, though. You know, you don't want unnecessary contact. You don't want to be wrecked for absolutely no reason. But Jax Duvall comes out of this thing with the W. Do you take any consolation in knowing that the car that made that hard contact with you, you know, you were sacrificed, but he won? Does that make it an easier pill to swallow?
Not really, because Fritz should have won and me second. We had it in the bag if he wouldn't have drove through me.
I'll tell you what, Noma Motorsports, you guys really controlled those last laps of the race leading up to that caution that we saw. We saw that success from MC Motorsports early on with Kay Sabir and Bobby Dodson and Michael Mata, and then you guys just ripped that page out, made it yours at the end, really looking for that success. But you know, that super speedway race, and it gets crazy. When you went down there with them, that made our heart stop. And then, yeah, Duvall had just had that opportunity, got underneath you, went up into the wall 100 yards before the start-finish line. Still, third place finish, Justin. You were one of the last cars, 1 point away from making it into the Elite Eight. I know you would love to have seen your teammate win, but you got to take some consolation in knowing that you are still one of the fastest drivers out here. Anybody you want to give a shout out to tonight?
The league for putting this on every week, letting us get out here. It's first season here. It's been fun getting out here, and of course y'all for doing the broadcast for us. Y'all are some hell broadcasters.
Well, I appreciate it. When you guys put shows like this on for us, it is real easy. Nobody wants to see parade laps, and you guys definitely put on a show tonight. I felt like I was at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus personally. Justin, hell of a race, bud. Next week, y'all gonna be at Richmond. How good are you there?
I've never drove this car at Richmond.
Well,
so that's to be decided.
Well, you know what? Everybody has a first time, and who knows? That might be the first time we see you up. If your teammate can't win, maybe it'll be you, Justin. Hell of a race today, man. Thank you so much, dude. Have a great night. You earned it.
Thank you.
All right, Mean Gene. Looks like we only got two guys left. Brandon, we got you over here, man.
Yes, sir.
How's it going? Is it Garand before I just butchered even further?
It's Garen. It's Garen.
Yeah.
Garand. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Congrats on the runner-up finish today, man. You were everywhere today. We saw you in a few incidents earlier, but we definitely, one thing that we always saw from you is you were pretty much always in the front unless you were dealing with some crap with trying to sit in the lead lap, but you were here, there, and in between today. Tell me what it was like being out there, and how did you make that awesome recovery at the end? Because did you not go a lap down on that second last run?
I did go a lap down, but I was the lucky dog.
So you didn't get any contact in that wreck. Okay.
Yeah. So I was able to pit there, and I got the lucky dog, and I fueled up there, and I was all over the place, man. I really was. Running by myself, running in the pack, top four there for a while. Top line was amazing there for a while, and I'm just happy to squeeze through there at the end and get second place.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy out there. I mean, you were it was an eventful day for you, but you weren't the only one that was kind of everywhere. It was honestly the majority of the field. Was it a kind of a sketchy situation out there? And I'm glad you brought the top line because actually we were wondering about that. We felt like a lot of cars didn't want to use that line, even though it did seem to be the dominant line. Can you take me through like what that was like out there and why you think that it may have been that way?
Yeah, it seemed like people weren't going to be patient up there. They just wanted to push, push, push. But as long as you had the top 3 cars pretty much lined up, car 4 and 5 could pull that speed out of that top line and push them ahead. They kept trying the bottom side, but it didn't seem to work out. I don't know if that had to do with worn out tires or what, but top line seemed to be where it was at.
Yeah, we were wondering that too. Like maybe the worn out tires were making them not quite able to hug the bottom the way they need to get any substantial momentum. But it was a fascinating one for sure, and it was a lot of fun to watch the guys like you who were willing to rip the top and make things interesting the whole race. So thank you for that. And thanks for showing up again, man. I know it's been a little bit since we've had you back here, a couple of races, but you've been someone that's been a staple of this league, and we're excited to have you back here and hope that we have you all full-time next year as well. Anyone you want to give a shout-out to?
I'll give a shout-out. Might get hated on this, but Duval's a MRL original, so he can he can take the win, and I'll congratulate him on that.
Hey, he did a great job. Were the vibes not great in the chat when the checkered flag flew?
I'm not quite sure. I kind of stayed out of the chat the whole race and just kind of ran my own race with some. Yeah, exactly.
Like, congrats, Jax. I guess.
I'll congratulate him on the win, and it's just thank you guys for streaming every week and keeping it interesting for everybody to watch.
Thank you, Brandon. It's a pleasure. It genuinely is. Congrats on the finish, man. And with that, just glowing introduction, take it away with our race winner, Mean Gene. Racing for a championship!
There he is, racing for the championship. He's in the final 4. Love him, hate him, or like him, you got to deal with him. The number 84 Chevrolet Jax Duval, straight out of Florida. Jax, are you there, buddy?
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, man, you got ice cold water running through your veins. Those moves you made at the end to take that win. Some people say I don't like seeing contact for no reason. My friend, you're standing at the top of the podium holding that trophy. I think you had the biggest reason of all to do it. You punched your way into the ticket. You got some people looking at you. You got anything you want to say?
It's a super speedway racing here in Atlanta. You can barely get 3 wide here. It's going to happen. But it's just, I knew we were coming to the last lap with Justin there, and he got fully in front of me. I had a good push from, I think Matta might have been behind me. But I don't know, he made a good move. I wasn't mad at him, just trying to push him. Well, get up there, because I knew he wasn't to the bumper of the other car. But it was swirly. It's just the way it is at this track. The bumpers didn't line up, and yeah. I mean,
we saw that all the time. These tires get cold really fast. You got 3 modes of tires. You got cold tires, you got worn out tires, and then you got good tires for about 4 laps. And so a lot of people out there, a few of them did choose to come in for a quick little splash. Not you. You stayed out 13 laps on those tires, but were they freshies? You came in 13 laps.
I came in
pit stop.
Last pit stop. I came and got freshies.
Yeah, and we could see that you had the ability to cut up and down and work your way through there. Good driving. We saw you out there. You took the pole. Not a surprise to see you running up there at the end for the win. And again, super speedway racing. It's gonna be interesting. When you're cutting through there. 100 yards away, though. 100 yards away. Were you just thinking I could take second place at that point?
Oh, I did. I was trying to actually take second place when I was pushing Owens. Another damn push that went bad. We had the same speed. I checked the replay, and it just got him too loose. I was very happy to push him to the lead, to the win, but it upset his car way too much there. Just try to give it all we had. And like I said, we were working together. Should have been Owens in victory lane tonight, but like I said, it's just unfortunately.
Pretty amazing how that story goes, Jax. Two of our top three drivers were trying to push someone else to victory, and things just went sideways. I think Brandon was onto something when he said the track is just a little bit smaller than Talladega. You do get the speed, you get the draft, you get the push, but it's in a microcosm.
Yeah, you can go 3 wide here, but it's very tight, and not a lot of people can hold that bottom.
I don't think anybody could.
I agree.
I don't think anybody could. We saw all of our top drivers have issues trying to hold that bottom, and their cards just pushed up a little bit. And then you add in net code, and crazy things just end up happening. But I'll tell you what ain't crazy, Jax, is you just punched your ticket, my friend. You were coming into this thing third. You've been third pretty much all the way through this points race. Behind Iverson and Cook. Cook punched in last week at Darlington. It's your turn this week. Anybody you want to give a little shout out to?
Shout out to Owens, good racing. Sorry I couldn't get him there. We'll try next week. Shout out to everybody that runs in this league. It's great racing. We're all going to get upset here and there. It's just part of it. Richard Swagel, Jack Sanders, thank you guys for sticking with me, and for great second place to Brandon also. That's really good for him.
Man, that guy ran fast all day, the 57 of Brandon Guerin. All day long, he kept finding his way up into the front. Jax, you punched your ticket in, but also you are the points leader at that point. At this point in the series, has to feel good to finally see your name up there. You were the winner of the first race at Charlotte. Tony Iverson overtook you the next week. But now we see it up at the top once again. Jax Duval crawl. And you want to tell us what that means? Crawl.
If you go down to Key West, we have a street down there called Duval Street. It's full of bars. Mm-hmm. You go up and down it. That's the Duval crawl. You get a drink at every bar. You got to make it though.
Love it.
Wow.
If I ever make it down to Florida, you're on.
Challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that sounds like a challenge. I think if you win, we'll call it the Championship Duval Crawl. Ladies and gentlemen, Jax Duval, driver of the 84 Chevrolet. He is your winner here today at Atlanta. Next week, they will be at Richmond, and then he will be part of the Final Four at Michigan. Jax, hell of a race, bud. Thanks for putting on that show for us tonight.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Man.
And also, thank you, Zach. Thank you, Mean Gene, for putting on a great broadcast. Hit that like, subscribe, good content.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jax.
Hey, how about that? He even gave us the little seal of approval there at the end.
We don't have to do it.
He must not listen to that crazy stuff we say about him when he's out there on the track.
He must not. He only listens to my math and criticizes me for it.
What I do is I just mute those parts. I have the Russian hackers helping me, so we can mute when people listen, and I don't want them to hear what I really said about them. No, but in all truth, Jax Duval, hell of a race. This guy's been top 3 all year. Not a surprise to see him pull out that dub here at the end.
Not at all.
So him and Cook punching their tickets in. Look at that. Look at Buddy Sully, David Owens. Tony Iverson drops just a little bit, but he's only 2 points behind. Austin Merrill 4 behind Fritz, and then you fall back into Michael Mata. So I think really you got to win to get in. Right? Unless your name is Buddy Sully or David Owens, I think those other 4 guys are really up against the wall.
I don't think Iverson or I don't know. I mean, Mata, yeah, Mata's it's out of the question.
Mm-hmm.
He needs to win. I mean, you're only looking at 4, right? So from
but
Owens,
what if only 16 people show up?
No, you're right about that too. But you never know. I mean, like God forbid Owens and Iverson have a disastrous day, then Merrill can do it easily, right? But you're right. It's Richmond. While Richmond things can get wild, it's definitely far more straightforward than either of these tracks have been, even Darlington. So, I mean, I know how Owens is at Richmond. He's a monster there. I'd expect Sully to be really good there as well. We've talked to him about that a little bit. He loves that track. I mean, the shocking thing is, I mean, I guess what it is the fact that only 4 people can go, because now we lock in Jax, who is 1,000% a deserving person to be in our championship 4. He's been here all year. He got the first win of the season, like we talked about. But we're looking at and I thought Cook. It's pretty crazy at what you can see happen in these playoff races, and when the points get reset, and you really only have 3 races to decide it all. A full season of near dominance can come down to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we knew. I mean, the commander-in-chief elect told me David Cook. So I knew coming into this that David Cook was going to make his way in. And sure enough, he won that first race. Jax Duval, bam, that guy's in. But Buddy and Michael were just the fastest guys, I'd say the last third of that season. Owens has been consistent, but not running up on that top 3. And then Tony, he was just so fast all year, regular season champion. Really a surprise to see that one of those guys could not make it in. And Mero, he told us that's his that's one of the tracks that he really likes. Mm-hmm. Fritz as well. So not those guys. Matthew Fritz says that's his home track, right?
Mero did. Fritz.
Mero did.
Maybe it was
Mero. Fritz is from Virginia.
This is all a blur at this point. But I mean, Fritz.
What are you drinking? I'm on bourbon over here. I need some of what you're drinking. Is it green?
It's not, unfortunately.
No absinthe. Okay.
I mean, Fritz to me is also a crazy one. To talk about him real quick, he was 100 yards away from not even being in this conversation at all. Fritz will be racing for a championship, and he is up there with Duvall, who deserves it just as much. It is incredible when you have a format like this and something that minuscule and tiny can define your entire destiny.
I tried.
Oh, it's Owens. I mean, you're still positioned. We're looking at the points now. You're still +2 over Iverson, which is pretty crazy.
It's going to be hard to beat Iverson at Richmond, though.
And yeah, it's going to be. I mean, we all know what you were just talking about. We know how good you are at Richmond. Definitely had a great run there.
Yeah.
You had a great run there in the trucks.
Look at how my season went though for Cup, dude. Like I break on this Monday night.
Well, we got you here real quick, so let's just ask you one question because I wanted to ask: did you feel like Jax was pushing you to the win, or were those gnarly pushes, or was it just the last lap? Like, what was that to you?
It was some gnarly. He was trying to get me up there. We had talked about it on the restart. Before the restart, we had a discussion, and he was going for the win. But if I jumped up in front of him, he'd push me. And I just know he was trying to be aggressive, trying to keep me up there and just pushing right there on the exit of 4. You're already light, so it was just a little off-centered and just a bad timing of the push. Maybe a little bit. Probably would have pushed me square enough to where I would have been able to keep it. But I didn't think we needed a push. But hey, it's super speedway racing, so it happens.
Yep. I mean, we were talking about it during the broadcast, kind of the story of your season. But hey, with all that said, and even with all the adversity, you're still in position to be racing for a championship. So props to you. I'm going to mute you real quick, David, because me and Gene are going to sign off. But good run today, man. That last lap was insane. And it was, the storylines were everywhere. And thank you for putting on a show for us.
Yes, sir.
All right, me and Gene, take it away.
Well, I tell you what, if he says Iverson's hard to beat, that'd be the best thing for him if he can't win, to have Tony win.
Yeah. Then he has to beat Buddy though. Tony winning would bring him out of the Final Four, and he'd have to beat Buddy by 2 positions, which is very doable. Man, it's gonna be so intense next week. I mean, that stage win alone can just be so big for you next week, especially someone like Buddy, to give him another point buffer in front of Owens. But yeah, I mean, in terms of...
And then the pole, right? And then a pole.
Good point.
Whoever gets the pole. Who's got more poles than Buddy Sully? Nobody.
Nope, especially not on tracks like that. I mean, lap sled, I'm sure we'll see people stay out past cycles to get a lap led any way you can find a point. And to go back to your first point when you first showed these, it's not, as said for Michael Mata, it's not a point situation where it's winning in, but mentally, it has to be. And I think that's what you meant to, is it absolutely has to be. If you're Tony Iverson, you can't go into this race thinking second place is good enough.
Right. Yeah, because he gets second place. David Owens gets third or fourth. Too bad. You're out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, man,
Especially for somebody like Fritz and Mero.
Yeah.
If they get second or third place, that's great. But if those other guys get fifth, sixth, seventh,
Yeah, and your automated spotter can't do that math for you. Who knows if they have a real life spotter helping them out? So you can't be doing that math all race. And if you want to simplify it for yourself, get out there and win the damn thing.
Yep, I think that's really the only way to look at this thing for everybody. And even the guys that aren't in the points, they're going to try to win this thing. I think Michigan is where you back off. If you're a non-playoff driver, I think Michigan is where you say, okay, good luck, boys. There's 4 of you, good luck. But if I'm on the outside looking in, I'd love to get my first trophy of the year in that last race. I'm not going to wreck anybody for Pete's sake, but on the other hand, I'm not going to just let you go by.
No, you're so right, and that's the time to do it. And yeah, I do think Michigan is when we will see things mellow out a little bit. That respect will be absolutely given to whoever our top 4 ends up being. But all bets have got to be off at Richmond. It's a short track, but it's also a very technical short track. It kind of is difficult to rough people up there, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of that. And the pressure is another thing that I think we'll be talking about a lot next week. That is a track where it's so easy to self-spin on the exit of those corners, and the pressure is going to be an all-time high for these 6 guys. Oh, man, I could not be more excited. As much as I love being out there with these guys and racing them, I do not envy them on Monday. Wow, it's going to be a brawl.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy D-shaped tracks. So that gives you that extra opportunity to just, door somebody and send them right into the outside lane on accident. It's always an accident. But yeah, 0.75 miles. It's not even a mile long. Asphalt, 14-degree banking. The action track. That's what they call it.
Yep. It's for good reason. I don't know. I wish I knew on the top of my head. I don't know if we're going there at nighttime or daytime, because that's also a huge thing with that track. That can change it from being a grippy, aggressive track to just being a loose disaster mess. I'm looking right now. I can't see. My assumption, knowing the guys who set this league, is it will be a day race to make it as difficult as possible. And
make it messy, like a sloppy.
Exactly. Have fun with that, guys.
You like the sloppy toppy. Well, I'll tell you what. Hell of a race tonight. Super Speedway action at its finest. All the wrecks that you ever dreamed of, and even one you probably didn't want if you are a fan of Justin Parham and Matthew Fritz. But they'll have their shot next week at Richmond. Can't wait to see it. Hell of a day. Final thoughts, Zach?
I mean, I'm tempted to call that the race of the year, which is such a high standard when you look at this league this year. But this league has given us so much. We take it back a week to Darlington, and if you're a racing nerd like me, especially an iRacing nerd who loves watching these guys do their thing, that was such a treat to watch them tackle such a difficult track, still bring their aggression. And while, that race obviously didn't bring the same type of excitement that you'd see somewhere like Talladega or here today, it brought such a cool racing product and so much to appreciate and love. While today was the same level of talent and aggressiveness and intensity on display, but at a totally different track. This league can truly do it all, and they really do show you that all the time, and it really just is a joy to get to see and get to broadcast. I'm mostly just sad that we only have 2 more of these things left. I know we'll be getting our next gen season started up again after that, and I can't wait for that because I love calling these races so much. I wish these races were twice as long, and I wish the season had 20 more races because I'm just having the best time, and wish it wasn't coming to an end, but at least the fact that it's coming down to an end with a better story and closer racing and closer point situations than I think, even could have dreamed of when we were going into this thing in the round of 12. So, man, I'm just having the best time, me and Gene, and week after week, this league delivers and gives us a show beyond anything we could have ever asked for.
Yep, I totally agree. Looking at those 8 names on that board, crazy to think that 3 of those dudes at that top, Sully Owens, Iverson, that one of those guys will not be racing in the Final 4. So just cannot wait. But all good things must end. And the best part about this ending will be we will get to crown a new champion, and then we'll get to start a new season. So you guys at home, now is the time. Reach out. Talk to the admins, John Beverly, Joe Volpus, David Owens, hell, me, Zach Panzarella, reach out, get involved, be part of this season. Next year, we've got full-time broadcasters and we need full-time racers. So come out, get your name thrown up into that thing. You got a sponsor on your car, hell, get a top 5. We'll talk about your sponsor too, and get this thing going. MRL Broadcasting, I'm Mean Gene Money, Zach Panzarella in the booth. Joy to see you all. Have a wonderful night. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, bottoms up and hammer down.
Rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go.